Hi everyone and welcome to episode 6 of Belgian Boys Euro Trip with me, the United City FM. So after a poor showing in the group stages of the Euros with Belgium, we changed our tactical approach from vertical tiki-taka to gegenpress, and in the knockout stages so far we've looked a lot better, beating Czech Republic and then getting revenge on Denmark, who caused an upset by beating us in the group stages. So we are now through to a semi-final. But it doesn't get much bigger than this because today's opponent are going to be Spain. Can we get through to the final? Let's find out. Indeed, it has been a tale of two halves in terms of this tournament. The group stages were very, very average and ordinary for us. The knockout stage is just a little bit better. 2-1 against Czech Republic, 3-1 against Denmark in the quarterfinals, and now we get Spain. And in the other semi-final, it is Wales and Switzerland. So whoever gets through from this semi-final into the final would probably be considered favourites. And I want to be in that final. Can we do it? Spain are going to be very, very difficult to beat. Of course they are. And the other question mark hanging over us from last episode is, has De Bruyne recovered enough to be considered for this game? Let's go and have a look, shall we? Into the tactical page we go. And what you will see straight away is that we've got some very, very tired players. But De Bruyne is doing all right. It's the likes of Tielemans and Carrasco that have got real problems for today. And actually, we will be resting both of those players to start the match with. We can't take any chances. These two are going to be out on their feet within half an hour of this game starting. And I think we might need them towards the end of the match rather than at the beginning. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to put Dendoncker back in for Witsel, but we're going to put Witsel back in for Tielemans into that deep-lying playmaker role. So that's the change we're going to make there. And we are going to take Carrasco out and put Salimakis in instead down that right-hand side, a simple straight swap, and see whether he can perform the heroics that Carrasco so far has been doing for us. Those are the changes. The rest of them are just going to have to suck it up and get through, really, because there's some guys there that still look a little bit jaded, but this is a semi-final of the Euro Championship, so we have to put out a decent side and see what we can do. So for today's match against Spain, tricky Spain, it's going to be Courtois in goal, Meunier at right back, Cabot at left back, Denayer and Bouyata in central defence, Dendoncker, Witsel and De Bruyne in central midfield, Salimakis on that right-hand side, Hazard on the left, Lukaku up top, and pretty much everybody else on the bench. So let's get into this semi-final and see what happens. So I've gone positive in terms of the team talk. We've outstretched the arms and we've said to the players, I want you to pick up from where you left off last time. It was a great performance in the end against Denmark. What have they got to say in the tunnel? How are you approaching the task of keeping the European Championship leading goal scorers quiet here? I now know how good we can be and I trust my players to do their jobs. That's the one we're going with. Ramos has reigned supreme at the back for Spain recently. How do you throw him off his game? We're focused on what we can do as a team to beat their team. That's how football is played. Still going to go with that one. It'll be interesting to see how we match up against Spain, sort of in one-to-one battles all the way across the pitch. They're coming in with a 4-3-3 formation compared to our 4-2-3-1. So we're going to match up quite well. There will be lots of one-on-one battles, and it's just about who can succeed in theirs the most, really. So you can see the likes of Rodri and Busquets in midfield, Isco on the right, Morata up top. I don't think this is like the best Spain side that we'll ever come across, but it's a very, very good one. And obviously they're going to be difficult to break down with Ramos at the back and De Gea in goal. So, as I say, lots of good one-to-one battles out there. And it's just, can we get the advantage on some of them? It's a Spanish free kick to start the highlights, though. We do get it clear, and Lukaku can hold the ball up, and it goes on a bit of a run himself, jinks past the defenders, and does it all on his own from pretty much the halfway line. Held the ball up for a second, span the defender, ran off the back of him, got all the way through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and absolutely does not make any errors whatsoever, and puts it along the floor underneath De Gea, and we go 1-up in the semi-final after 23 minutes. And that is a fantastic thing for us to be able to do this early in the game. Get an early lead, put the pressure all on Spain. And you can see in terms of the match statistics, we've had 5 shots at goal. They've only registered 2 so far. So we are doing well. We are in control of this game to a point. We're working hard, being competitive. And that's really fantastic to see. You can see, though, that we've got a couple of our guys that are out on their feet already, and I did know that that was going to happen. We had to find a way to get an advantage in this game. We will play through this way through till half-time, then we will make a couple of changes, both in terms of the way we play and the personnel, and Hazard had the perfect opportunity to put us 2 up just before half-time and squeezes that ball just narrowly wide of the post. And it gives Spain a little bit of hope that we couldn't quite convert that chance. And they come at us down the right-hand side just before half-time. They get a bit of a ricochet and it's being pinballed around a little bit. They regain possession in midfield at the top of the penalty box. They've switched it left. Meunier through on goal and he batters the ball in the back of the net. And we were never quite in control of that sequence, were we? Defensively, you could tell that we were trying to get a foot in on the challenge. We were trying to block things. It was always going back to Spain quickly. And the defence were not quite as lively as their attack were there. And they quite rightly at that point get a goal from it. And we will go in 1-1 at half-time, it looks like. There's a couple of minutes left. Looks like it's drifting towards that half-time whistle, though, quite quickly. And it does. And we will go in at 1-1. Little bit disappointing that we couldn't hold that lead for a little bit longer. Maybe I should have changed it immediately to control possession, but it felt too early and too passive to give Spain too much opportunity. So I wanted to continue to press. But we are going to have to take Eden Hazard off, because if we don't, he will pick up an injury in this second half. And it will cause a problem should we get through. So we are going to have to do that, unfortunately. So what are we going to go with so far? We're going to go with hands together. If we can get the goal, I make us favourites to win. Go out there and make that happen. I quite like that one. We are going to have to go into the team, though, and just change this up a little bit. Hazard is already out on his feet. So we're, again, going to bring the other Hazard on. Torgan Hazard comes into the lineup for the remainder of the game. The rest of the guys are going to at least be able to play the next 15 minutes before we have to make a decision about who we take out. The only thing that I would suggest is that these yellow cards are a little bit of a worry. So give me 15 minutes into this second half and we'll have to make a decision here. And we will go back in, still in the Gegenpress for the start of this second half, just to see if we can get ourselves on the front foot again. If we do, immediately we'll change it. Go into the shouts and demand more from them again. And just see how this second half starts. Now, of course, you'd imagine that Spain will also have a few issues in terms of their player conditioning. And you can see that they are lessening quite a bit as well. Maybe not quite as much as us, though. We'll have to see how that impacts us as the game goes on. And it is Spain playing in midfield, but they lose possession. We regain it from Torgan Hazard, and Witsel and Dendoncker are going to tidy up the play a little bit. Salimakas down that right-hand side in replacement of Carrasco, who's been a superstar, of course, dribbles all the way to the byline, crosses in, and we get a goal from it. Lukaku, in the middle of the 6-yard box, just stood there. It went through a couple of defenders who did not do their jobs properly, and he had a really simple tap-in from brilliant work from the Carrasco replacement down the right-hand side. Salimakas gets all the way to the byline, a complete fluff-up by the goalkeeper it was in the end, who got a foot to it but puts it into the path of Lukaku. And immediately we're going to go out of the gegenpress. But before we could do it, there's another highlight for us on the edge of the box. Witsel on the ball, drops it back to Den Donker and switches the play out wide right to Meunier, into Salimakers, again across to Hazard. And it's Torgan Hazard who gets a third goal for us in very quick succession. And immediately we're going to pause the game while the celebration is happening. And we're going out of the gegenpress. And we're going to make a couple of changes to protect these players. So out of the gegenpress we go. We're going to go back into controlled possession. And there's two obvious players here. We have to change the right fullback. One, because he's conditioning, and two, because he's got a yellow card. And also De Bruyne coming back off of that injury. So Meunier comes out. Castagna goes in. And then we're going to take De Bruyne out and put Pratt back in. Dennis Pratt will go and play in that attacking midfield role. And those are the changes that we can make. The rest of them are going to have to get through to the full-time whistle on what energy levels they've got. But surely the adrenaline is running now, because we have just taken a 3-1 lead. Brilliant play again from central midfielders to put it out wide right. A good cross in early from Meunier to Salimakers, who then finds Hazard on this near post as we look at it, and he had such a wide open space to just slot it in that corner, and he did so magnificently. Spain are not going to go down without a fight. They do have the ball down our right hand side. We block the first shot. The second shot from Busquets comes in, and it goes all the way in, and we go to 3-2 still with 35 minutes to play. They're going to have to score another couple of goals to beat us, but only one more, of course, to take it further into added time. And we don't really want that. That will destroy us physically. We have to hold on to this. Now in our controlled possession, can we just spend a little bit of time keeping the ball, calming down the play, keeping it away from Spain, who have had more of the possession than we've had through the game? Can we do a good enough job at 3-2 up just to see this game out? We've made our changes in terms of personnel. We had to do that early. So it's now just about, can we see the game out? We've reached 75 minutes, and in that 15-minute chunk of time, not a lot has happened, which is good for us. Reaching the 80th minute, and still not a lot has happened for us. Can we see this one out? 10 minutes to go. The Real Madrid players, not the Real Madrid, the Spanish players are out on their feet a little bit. So are we. What condition we're going to be in for the final, I don't know, but it looks like we're going to be in the final. 90th minute, coming and going, 5 minutes of added time, 3-2 up. Can we hold on? There is a highlight to Spain. The corner comes in and it's over the top of the bar from a header. Just for a moment, I worried there that they were going to sucker punch us right at the end. They didn't manage it. The full-time whistle goes, and we reached the final of the Euros with a Belgium side that looked ordinary in the group stages and pretty damn good in the knockout stages so far. And that is Spain gone. And Wales or Switzerland are going to be our opponents in the final. Let's go and find out which one it is. And here we are, Belgium versus Wales in the Euros final. That is not the final I thought was potentially going to happen at the beginning of this tournament, whether we would get there or not. But that is a really interesting game. Bale, Dan James, Aaron Ramsey and the like, all in the Welsh squad, all causing problems for opposition with a lot of pace moving forward, I would suggest. That could cause our backline a few problems, but we've got a few issues that we can cause them as well. And we are into the final of the Euros. As I said, having not looked great in the group stages, looked much better since we changed it into the gegenpress style. And hopefully in 4 days' time, when we play the final, we can have a fit enough team to go out and do the gegenpress again. Yeah, that's a little bit of an issue, possibly, but we'll have to wait and see. But there we go. Wales versus Belgium in the next episode, in the final of the Euros. We've made it all the way through to the end of the competition. Can we bring the trophy home? Let's find out in the next episode. Until then, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That will help me get seen by loads more people. Remember to come and join me over on twitch.tv/the United City FM every weekday over there live 3 till 5. If not slightly earlier or slightly later, you'll have to look at my Twitter and my Discord for info on that. Until next time here though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.